Okay, this is a private video and it's about what I teach. Since 1986, I've been a real estate investor. I've worked with commercial and residential. I've worked with private money and partnering. So I've done practically everything there is to know. Um, I do want to go over a few things. This is going to take about 10 minutes. One of the reasons why I put here lease purchase in the very beginning is lease purchase is the easiest way for beginners to make money, and we partner with you to make money. You go find the seller and we close it, and we make money together, and we split it 50-50. But there's other strategies. Um, you can do a cooperative assignment, which is assigning a lease option agreement. You can do a pure or straight assignment, which is very close to wholesaling. You can do a sandwich lease option or a pure option or a cash strategy where you're pulling cash out, but it's not really easy to do. It used to be able to be a lot easier in the mid of this decade. Between 2006 and 7, you could do the cash strategy very easily. Working with listed property, how do you do that with agents, consultations for sellers and other investors and for tenant buyers? Um, so that is money-making strategies. Acquiring lease purchase property, how do you do it? This is just the marketing. How do you acquire or find or lock up properties? How do you find the tenant buyers? How do we do that? We teach you how to do that. Teach you how to put together a database. It's very important to track these things and to follow up. It's important to understand how to work a deal step by step using the proper contract, some examples, step by step in your first month, what to expect, and then prospecting um, using the telephone and the web. A lot of people can't cold call. We teach you how to cold call. It's important to be able to cold call. Um, Oops, sorry about that. Um, Calls on rental properties, tenant buyer calls, and then prospecting by mail. What's a press release? What does a good letter look like? What does a good postcard look like for the lease purchase business? Promotional material, better brochures, making most of your newsletters. How do you cut costs? Writing a press release, things of that nature on the promotional material. Okay, going down, and we have a lease purchase glossary so you learn the language. Now, here's some other quick start courses that we get involved with. You got to know your exit strategy first. We teach you the basics of wholesaling, how to get started, what type of properties, what are the advantages and disadvantages. Retailing is where a rehab, how to do rehabs, the advantages and disadvantages. Seller financing, I really like, especially in this hard lending market. The deal is in the terms. How do you create no qualify financing, types of seller financing, why sellers will give seller financing, giving the seller debt relief. Now, subject to is very popular. We help you understand subject to. Seller carryback, we get involved with. It's generally a wraparound mortgage or an AITD. Agreements for deed or land contracts is basically like a contract for deed. You finish the contract and then you have to go refinance it and pay the underlying balance. Lease options. Lease options is a real strength of our company. What is a lease option? Why do sellers do lease options? When to lease option a property? How do you make money with sublease options? This is more of a sandwich. Finance terms that create value. Get up to 3 paydays in sandwiches and types of properties to invest in. Lease options with repairs. It's a little dangerous, but it can be done. But it's important to have the right paperwork when you're dealing with lease options with repairs. Standard options is basically you got an option to buy that within a period of time, and then you can assign or sell your option. Rentals, it's got to do with building a rental portfolio, the advantages and disadvantages, taking action in the right order, implementing the success system, and getting organized and setting up shop. So the next step is learning about the financing. In understanding creative financing strategies, you got to know the money sources, addressing credit issues, the truth about no money down, and introduction to creative financing strategies. The investment strategies require no financing or existing financing. Now, if there's no financing, you can do a flip using a standard option around the existing financing and buying subject to wraparound mortgages, agreements for deed, and lease options. If you need new financing Well, we're looking at retailing or rehabbing and then the rentals if you need to go get a bank loan. Determining which strategy to use, you got to really know the seller's needs. A lease option assignment fits a lot of sellers' needs. They don't have any equity usually. Any existing financing, it's important to have a fixed rate mortgage when you do that. Property's condition and location. If it's in bad condition, you're going to do something different. If the location's terrible, you're going to do something different. What are your financial abilities to borrow and your personal investment goals? Creative home buying strategies, getting creative, flexible loans from banks. And then we go into the short sale strategy. What's a short sale? Why and when lenders will do a short sale. When will lenders not do a short sale? How can I do a short sale with no money or no credit? Properties that are good for short sale candidates, and how much can I offer? How much do I offer on a short sale? So strategies for selling. You could uh, strategy for flipping, retailing, lease options, strategy not to use when selling and why. Strategies for making money on 100% finance properties. We do that every day. Don't give the seller any money. You can do a subject to, you can do an agreement for deed, you can do a short sale, you can do a lease option. Strategies for getting cash back at closing. Well, you can get money, believe it or not, from the seller or money you borrow or your buyer. Financing sources, you can use the seller as a source of financing. Now, simultaneous financing has got to do with creating a note and selling it, selling note payments, and future discounting. Banks, important issues regarding conventional bank financing for investors and for home buyers. Right now, it's important if you're in the lease option assignment business to understand how FHA gets mortgages approved. They do most of the loans. Conforming lenders, if they're expensive properties, you need to understand those too. Mortgage brokers, what's a normal brokerage fee? Pre-qualifying buyers getting pre-qualified yourself. Loan approval versus final loan approval. Now, hard money is gotten really hard to find and to get for properties, but it is available. We want to teach you about hard money terms, getting the money for repairs, credit requirements. Hard money is cheap. Documents required, and how to get wholesale buyers financed. Hard money private lenders. I love private lenders. They're not partners. Partners versus lenders, having multiple lenders. The money circulates, finding private lenders. Working with partners, when not to partner with someone. Learning, determining to partner or to borrow. Now, this is one of my areas of expertise because I was a financial planner. We really understand IRAs and how can you get a private lender to basically move money from one IRA to a new IRA and lend you that money to go buy a property. TPAs and self-directing. You don't need money in your IRA to buy real estate. Growing your IRA without making contributions. Allowable investments. There are prohibited transactions. Choosing the right TPA. Borrowing or lending money using an IRA account. Buying property using an IRA account. Buying discounted notes. Wholesaling properties in your IRA. Retailing properties in your IRA. Lease optioning properties with, I'm sorry, there's a misprint there. Rental properties with your IRA account, when not to borrow IRA and opening up an IRA account. So we use custodians. So the best one is trustetc.com. We use it all the time. We really would appreciate you just checking out their site. That's trust, T-R-U-S-T, and then etc.com. Credit cards and lines of credit, supplementing your other financial resources, bank credit cards, home improvement center credit cards, home equity lines of credit, signature loans using cosigners, credit repair for the real estate investors, your personal credit, and your tenant buyer's credit. How to get it better. Understanding your credit report. Now, how do you get a copy of your credit report? The credit bureau contact information, checking all three repositories or credit bureaus, contents of the credit report, things that affect your credit score, your FICO score, disputing items off your credit report using the Fair Credit Reporting Act, disputing inaccuracies, removing old information, follow up after 30 days. You've got to follow up when you want to get your credit report better. Paying things off your credit, dealing with charge-offs, paying overdue accounts in a lump sum, making monthly payments as a payoff, things to know when you negotiate with creditors that you owe money to, past bankruptcies, defaulted student loans. Building a stronger credit. strengthening your current credit references, adding information to your credit report, establishing new credit, avoiding future credit problems. Now, letters to credit bureaus. Letter to requesting a copy of your bureau to get started, letter to dispute information off your credit report, letter remove old information, letter remove spouse's information, um, letter remove unauthorized inquiries, letter follow up 30 days after dispute, letter add account information. Letters to creditors. Letter report spouse's information. Letter dispute credit card charge. Letter dispute information on account. Letter dispute amount owed. Letter negotiate payment of charge off. Letter payment of charge off at a discount. Complaint letter to the federal or state agency. This is so important you understand the laws. The Federal Trade Commission reviews the 3 credit bureaus, and they hate getting complaints directly to the Federal Trade Commission. Then we talk about the Garn-Saint-Germain Depository Institutions Act of 1982. It's a very important national federal law, and it's regarding the exceptions of due on sale clauses. Now, this next section is one of the most important sections to learn, and it's got to do with table of contents, introduction to contracts, purpose of this section, overview of topics covered. We teach you the basics of agreements and forms. Purchase and sale agreements using a state-approved realtor agreement, and it goes through all of this. I'm not going to read all of that. And then wholesaling category agreements, and how do you assign your purchase agreement, setting up a double closings at bank-owned property, assignment of agreement, and so forth. And then we want to be able to show you a HUD-1 and see what it looks like. Purchase and then authorization to release loan information status. Retailing has got to do with rehabbing and dealing with builders and contractors. It's important that you have, a good kind of agreements with when you're dealing with um, builders. Authorization to release loan application status. The contractor agreement is very, very important that you get everything in writing. Addendum to listing agreement, authorization to release loan application status. All right, so seller financing, and this is what I really love. I love dealing with properties. This is subject to agreements. And it looks like a lot of stuff, but you need a purchase and sale agreement and all these other agreements in order to be able to do a subject to. Now, seller held mortgages, trust deed, and mortgage sales, drawing up mortgage documents, terms to consider, wraparound mortgage, a mortgage note, and wraparound mortgage rider. And you learn all of this when you learn the agreements to this. Agreement for deed, land contract, contract for deed. These are all basically the same thing, and it's really nice tool, especially if you have a good state for these agreements. Some states don't like them, like Texas, but I really love agreements for deed or land contracts or contracts for deed. You don't want to sell under an agreement for deed. You want to sell under a rent to own. That's what I would do. Now we get into lease options, and lease options are wonderful. When you buy on a lease options, the agreements that we use, we set up a lease option agreement. You need the purchase price, the payment amount, the rent credits, the deposit amount down, the term. Preparing for a sandwich lease option, you need to protect yourself. And this is the lease option agreement, the collection account agreement, the lease option deposit receipt, the insurance letter, notice to renew lease option, notice to exercise purchase option. Now, when you sell on a lease option, and that's our exit strategy most of the time, we have 2 separate agreements. Remember that. You want a lease, and then you want an option. When you buy, you want it on one document, okay? But when you sell, have 2 separate documents. Factors to consider, agreements used, you have the lease, you have a lease payment, the term, the deposit, the purchase option agreement, the option sales price, the option fee, giving rent credits, and required disclosures. Now, when you sublease on a sandwich, that's a little bit different. The advantages of lease optioning with repairs, the agreements used on a sandwich are these. Now, lease optioning with repairs, we talked a little bit about that before. It's a little bit dangerous, but if you do it right, you can cover yourself. And here's a lease agreement and purchase option for the tenant, repair addendum, their responsibility, and so forth. Standard options. This is what most Standard options are what wholesalers do. They basically get an option to purchase agreement and then they sell their option. Rental category agreements, when you're a landlord, you need all of these types of agreements. You need a tenant application, denial letter, standard lease, Section 8 documentation, moving tenants in and out form, itemized security deposit deductions, offering a rent discount, giving notice of past due rent, and all of this. This is all standard landlording information. Short sale agreements. And then those short sale agreements, it takes some talent to understand what the banks want for short sales, and it keeps changing all the time, but that is the basics of short sales. The short sale package, what to include, what not to include, and it's a little complicated. That's why people stay away from them. Now, land trusts. It's mostly for privacy, the purpose, and the benefits. They're amazing benefits. The documents that are involved, filling out the trust agreement, preparing the deed, what's the trustee about being the beneficiary, beneficiary's agreement, operating a land trust is very easy, selling the trust property, using a land trust as an investor or as a homeowner, what is the trust agreement, what is the warranty deed to trustee, what's the beneficiary's agreement, assignment of beneficial interest. That's how you sell. You sell your interests in the land trust. The direct letter of direction to the trustee, the resignation of trustee, notice of termination of trustee, affidavit of resignation and appointment of successor trustee, trustee's affidavit. All right, so that's a land trust, and we use subject to and land trust together. Partnership agreements. The definition of a partnership, forming a partnership under a land trust. We like partnerships under a land trust. Joint ventures, limited partnerships. What's a general partnership? Joint venture agreement, limited partnership agreement. We like joint venture agreements. I like that much more than a limited partnership agreement. Okay, so these are the contacts. How do you make contacts with title companies, real estate agents, appraisers, contractors, other business contractors with insurance agents, accountants, attorneys, the termites, and the surveyors. Money contacts, local bank lenders, mortgage brokers, hard money brokers, private lenders, and we have sample letters for private lenders. There's a lot of private lenders that are recorded in the county courthouse. Partners, how to find partners. How many partners or lenders should you find? One partner or lender per deal is very important. Investor contacts, associations, other investors, working with other investors. Now, creating a buyer's list is very, very important in wholesaling. And we do the same thing with lease options. Locating other investors, questions to ask other investors. All right, now we're getting into building a business. Building a business, it's so important. Learn your local market. Know what a good wholesale deal looks like. What does a good rehab deal look like? What does seller financing and lease options look like? What are rental deals look like? Study other investors, find deals, getting started. What makes a good investment? It's a numbers game. What does a good business card look like? What are other investors, locating other investors, and then, doing FSBO ads. How can you find current FSBO ads and call them? Placing iBuyHouses ads, MLS listings. What do you use a real estate agent for? Using the right agents, getting access to the MLS, what to search for. Expired listings, foreclosures, understanding that process. Vacant houses, you have no competition. I love vacant houses. Condemned properties, I don't like them that much, but if you're a builder and you understand code, well, go after it. Tax sales. What's a tax sale? What's a tax certificate? What's a tax auction? The auction notices. Probate. What's probate? Somebody dies and leaves property to their heirs. Eviction listings. Why should you go after eviction listings? Well, we love eviction listings because the landlord is angry and they might lease it to us with an option. Using the internet, there's our site, reiskills.com. Go to real estate agent sites, investor websites, local resources online. Bandit signs are those yellow signs that you see on telephone poles. Should you use bandit signs? Car signs. Is a car sign good for you? Bird dogs. What's a bird dog? Is a finder. Somebody that finds property. We will work with you on lease option assignments. All you have to do is deliver information to the seller. We have it all ready for you. So we love bird dogs. What's a motivated seller? It's a flexible seller Deal only with motivated sellers. Your objective, identifying the seller's needs, create a solution based on those needs, pre-qualifying the seller over the phone. Can you steal it? Can you create no qualified financing? Start at the top. You want to start at subject to, then with seller held mortgage, then offer a lease option, then option the property. Is the seller ready to sign? Viewing the property. Meet the private seller or the FSBO. uh, View the listing property, viewing bank-owned property, seeing past the needed repairs, estimating repairs. This is important. We have the forms to do that. Estimating the property's value and getting comps, very, very important. Calculating the deals. How do you calculate the deal? Get the exit strategy first. Submitting the offer, offers to FSBOs, offers to banks. If you're doing it to the banks, you need private funds. It's very, very important. Okay. It's a numbers game. Don't sit around waiting. Have a follow-up system. Executing your exit strategy, executing a wholesale deal, knowing what to flip for, lining up the hard money, calling your buyers list, running an ad. We give you the exact steps to do that. How do you do a rehab deal? Same thing. How do you do a seller financing category deal? Finding these buyers, pre-qualifying the seller financing buyers, getting the tenant buyer to exercise their option. Building a rental portfolio, uh, finding tenants, screening tenants, and so forth. Now you can do this. You just need an action plan and a coach. Continue learning here, okay? And we have all these forms. We have forms for business cards and expired listings and vacant property worksheets, and condemned property letter and a tax sale letter and probate letters and worksheets and eviction letter, listing worksheets and listing letter. We got a property information worksheet that we use with every property. We have a motivated seller questionnaire checklist. We have a repair estimate worksheet. We have a property value worksheet, offer calculation worksheet, cash flow analysis worksheet, sample facts offer letter, property marketing log, buyer qualification, and so forth. So I hope this has really helped you understand the breadth of what we do. But I love lease option assignments to get you started. It is a lot. And just contact me. This is reiskills.com, helping you win. Okay? Helping you win. So thank you very much for listening. I appreciate you. That is a little bit of a long uh, recording, but it's been very, very thorough as far as what I can offer you, helping you learn. All right. I want to thank you for listening. Have a good day. Just contact me whenever you can. All right. Bye.